that. But I feel like you said something about a long time coming with Jeff coming on the show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I feel like this is another thing that's coming.
For me, another thing that's a long time coming is seeing this band that I'm seeing tonight.
I like how we always have to tease it. We just tease it so hard.
That's what radio's about, bro. You continually tease and never deliver the goods. You just keep on. It's like, oh, here the guy's coming on. Don't worry, he's coming. He'll be here. Don't worry.
I wish we could go to commercial break because then it'll keep you on that cliffhanger.
That's true. And when we come back, we'll be back with Jeff Frumess from Romeo's Distress. That rhymes.
Yeah, no, but we're gonna go see Blink-182 tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
The new
whatever it is,
incarnation of them, whatever.
Incarnacionation or whatever.
You know that word.
You remember that from Nacho Libre? Incarnacion. Oh, we live on Facebook right now.
Oh shit!
Whoa. Okay,
that's real. We just got super excited.
This up somewhere.
Yeah. Do you think?
What do you think is the best location for something like that? Like, how do I look better? Left, right side?
Like, this is the best location,
but then you'd have to stand up.
You hook it in thing. Yeah. So while we getting this live feed set up, which is tremendous, we're gonna go see Blink tonight, PNC Bank Arts Center.
And be it as it may, we all know whatever people have their theories and their opinions on Blink. And whether they're a good band or a bad band, you cannot deny that they are some of the godfathers of pop punk, right? I mean, of whatever we know as punk today, pop punk today. I don't know, Jeff. How do you feel about Blink as a punk music fan in general?
I respect them for their contributions. I guess that would be the most political way to say it. But I personally love the song "Damn It" off of Can't Hardly Wait soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
it just takes me back. But I would have to give that title to the Descendants.
Wow.
I really think they were the first
for pop punk.
If you listen to all that early Descendants stuff, you hear the DNA for everything that's going to come in the 90s. Or at least that's my 2 cents.
You know what I think? I think maybe we should queue up a Descendants song if we can.
Oh yeah.
And we should listen to one. You have anyone that specifically that you
think about how about I Am the One?
Oh yeah, that's good. Hang on, let me
Yeah, take your time. So have you ever really like I mean, you're a little older than us, I'd say, right? Like
I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay, yeah. So you're only like 3 years older. So I mean, I'm only 27.
There you go.
28. So now that we're all
28.
Just want to get my number out there too.
Just but a number.
Yeah. Hey, remember back in the day of AIM, you'd be like ASL, like yo. Age, sex, location.
Oh my God.
Now I know your sex, I know your age, and you're in the same location as me, so we basically can
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, we can Netflix and chill. No, it's funny because we were just on the drive over. We were talking about how creepy the internet used to be, and how much safer it feels now.
The internet got neutered, I'd say.
I'm trying to invent new ones. We have Netflix and chill, and then I'm thinking Hulu and hug, and then I'm thinking for Amazon Prime, it's like Amazon Prime Time. That's not that.
No,
that's
I
not
like that
good.
one.
That's not as good. It's a placeholder.
Yeah,
it's a placeholder.
That one seems like it's kind of implied. Like, listen, something's gonna happen.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Time.
The show is not on TV. The show is below the belt.
Yeah. We're not streaming this live tonight.
No, that we won't see. No, that's for the privacy of your own room.
Yeah, but so the Blink thing is for us. It's a long time coming because I've never seen them and I've liked them.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So how do you feel then about this? I mean, this is part of a larger, more controversial topic. In when does a band? And I'm not saying this about Blink. I'm just saying in general. When does a band stop becoming a band if a key ingredient leaves? And from what I understand, Tom, I don't know how to say his last name. Tom is like a key ingredient of Blink-182, right?
I mean, when you're in a band that's only 3 dudes, right? I mean, it's, you're not going to be able to replace what it is. I mean, especially when he was such a main songwriter and he was the singer, for half the songs. You can make up for it with Mark because Mark is a singer too. So but what do they do with the Tom songs? Come on, you know what I mean?
I don't know. But it could be a Sammy Hagar situation. I prefer Dio Sabbath over Ozzy Sabbath.
I love Dio.
There, I said it.
Rainbow in the dark.
But I look at it this way though. Like if a lead sings, I feel like it's different in a band. Like if like a kind of like a guitarist solely leaves, like I feel you can kind of replace that. But like when a lead singer leaves and that like voice and that like that persona, I feel like it's tough to reenact that, get that back on the stage again.
I agree.
Here's my rule of thumb.
Okay.
As long as the nucleus of the band, and what do I constitute as the nucleus? The songwriter and the lead singer. Sometimes it's not both. Sometimes it is. There's so many different flavors of that. For instance, the Ramones. You have the principal songwriter leave the band, but the lead singer and founding guitar player stay in the band, and they still have their head songwriter who wrote the majority of the songs, still writing songs for the band after he's left the band. It's still, whether it's an inferior Ramones or not, it's still cohesively the Ramones. Right?
That's true.
So, but then you have I think that was my phone doing something or other, whatever.
We're still streaming. Find Jeff on Facebook and Jeff Frumess. Yeah, you go.
Spell that last name so people can know.
F-R-U-M as in Mary, E-double-S.
Boom. Yeah, go find him on. Hit him up on.
Shout out to Dad for the way he spelled Dad. Okay.
Thank the ancestors for that spelling.
Okay.
What was I going to say? We were talking about the... Oh, yeah. So, yeah. And it's kind of similar to the whole Black Flag situation that happened a couple years ago. We were just talking about Black Flag. Obviously, it's like... So what was the real Black Flag? Was it Flag? Because Flag, by comparison, had more original members than the Black Flag reunion. But... Black Flag is Black Flag, and Greg Ginn wrote all those songs.
He wrote all those songs, and he was the only constant member. And there's another. I would love to hear what people think about that. I personally, here's the thing, because I didn't see Black Flag, but I saw Flag perform.
You saw them too, right?
I saw Flag, in Chicago, actually.
At the Riot
really?
Fest,
I saw them with TSOL at Irving Plaza. Great double bill. TSOL.
I remember that show,
and it was a great friggin' show. And I'm not even a huge Black Flag guy. I like the early stuff, and those last 3 albums kind of I kind of get lost. There's like a song here or there, and that's the thing. It's like, and you can look at Greg Ginn, and it's like he becomes it almost becomes his solo band. He's like, oh, I'm really into the Grateful Dead and freestyle jamming, and that's the direction the band turns into sludge metal, improv, and it's it doesn't resemble what the band originally was, and then Flag kind of resembles what that band originally was. So maybe Flag, in a way, on paper, trumps is a exception to the rule.
They may house the actual, the essence of the original band. Because I saw them at Riot Fest, and it was insane. People going apeshit for that stuff.
Yeah. It was great.
It was just this cloud of dust, and it was just.
It was so fresh at that time too, because they nobody had heard those songs in so long, and people were just ready, and that's years and years of people and new fans finding out about it.
Yeah, they filled the void.
Right,
they
totally.
Filled the void, which brings me to probably the single. Since we're speaking about Riot Fest, the single greatest, and I say this, this is not an opinion. I really truly believe this is passionate fact. The single greatest reunion of all time is happening.
Oh, I know.
Jerry and Glenn are playing together again. This is like green hell has frozen over. This is really happening, guys. This is happening, and it's happening at Riot Fest. And I got a ticket. I had to go. I was like, I have to see this. This is my all-time favorite band.
Is it has it happened already, or is it happening?
I think it's September. I think it's September.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was when I went. The Replacements, I think, got back together and they played.
They're really into that, man. They're like, who can we get? And the Misfits were their holy grail, and they did it.
Wow. Yeah, they did it. It was insane, because I feel like the only way you can get people to really go to festivals now is what can we do? Besides the Coachella Tupac hologram. It's what can we get? What's going to separate us apart? Because a lot of times, there's all these festivals, a lot of the same bands are on them, right? They're built across the summer and all that stuff. So it's what can I do to make my festival better than the rest? And I think it comes down to some crazy stuff like that.
This has been, talk about, and the thing about Misfits fans, myself included, is that we are the Star Wars nerds of the music world. You know what I'm saying? We will,
that's
debate,
well put.
Right? And we will debate, here's this string on this guitar. You know what I mean? It just never, the speculation and the discussion never friggin' ends. So this is something that has been speculated about, probably since 1983 when they first broke up. And it's finally happening. And they said it would never, ever happen. So when people say it's impossible, you just have to think Glenn and Jerry are playing on a stage.
Yeah, and look at Guns N' Roses. No one ever thought Axl Rose would come back. And now next thing you know, the headlining tour across the country.
Now he's singing for AC/DC.
Yeah, it's like now
Actually, it sounds pretty good.
it's unbelievable.
He's just going from band to band.
Yeah, I guess it's got to feel good to be back and loved, because he was removed for, what was it, 10 years, 20 years, something like that.
Right.
I don't, I'm not really well versed on Guns N' Roses, but I know that was another rift that was like, it was like hell freezing over for them to get back together.
It really like the impossible. So that's what I was saying. So nothing's ever dead. Like we're talking about Blink and how Tom's not there anymore.
Except the Beatles. You cannot resurrect the Beatles.
Unless they do the hologram and Ringo just plays.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That could Ringo and
Paul McCartney.
Mr. McCartney there. Yeah.
One other band though that is still left on this like mountain that we need to climb to get them back together is the Smiths. I don't think that they'll ever get back together because I think Morrissey is legitimately he's just not a psycho. He's just like, well, I don't care.
He was supposed to play.
I don't want to play.
Right?
Who, Morrissey was?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know. Yeah, he got sick or something, right?
I thought he had cancer, right? Because he
canceled a bunch of shows. I know back like last year, but he's apparently playing. What's it called? That Music Hall Williamsburg or something.
Oh wow! Coming up. I feel like everybody's coming back. It's a great time for like in music, old music at least, because they get all these old bands and old musicians coming back because everyone wants that one last shot.
It's true.
Well, I'll tell you, I just saw X for the first time, and I passed them over so many times. They were opening for Blondie, who I think is a great band, but I wasn't going to spend $80 to see go to X and then sit through Blondie. And the fact that they were coming back with Billy Zoom, their guitarist, who had cancer.
Oh wow!
And so it was like now or never, and like he's in remission, and they played very good for a dude who just like had emergency cancer surgery, or whatever the hell happens, and but it was like one of those situations where it's just like they're all back together, they're playing. It's like go see them now because
you may never see it again.
Yeah, you run out of time.
Yeah, because our time is limited on this earth.
That's true.
And it's like sometimes these petty feuds, it doesn't pay. Because I feel like after a while, it just kind of keeps snowballing, and then the feud gets bigger and bigger. But in the end, at the beginning, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
Another band that totally is like a valid entity, despite not having any of the original or all the original members, the Buzzcocks. The Buzzcocks currently consist of the songwriting nucleus. It's just the two guitarists who also took turns singing songs. And they record albums as the Buzzcocks. And to me, that's the Buzzcocks. And they're coming on October 1st. And I'm going to go see them because I'm going to what? I just want to hear some of those singles going steady songs. And that'll be good enough for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we should do this. So we'll do a little segue. We're going to come back, talk about the new movie you're coming up with. Sure. We're going to put I Got the Descendants song.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
So we're going to put I'm the One on. You guys listen to the Stroll Show, Ready for You Brooklyn. Sit here with Big Jeff. We'll
be back.
We'll be back in a little bit.
Big Jeff.
Big Jeff. Awesome. How is that? Am I doing okay?
Yeah,
it's
awesome. Maybe just you got to talk maybe a little closer.
Oh,
to
I'm
the mic.
sorry. All right.
Just a little closer. We can adjust
make out
it
with the mic like this.
It's got to be like right to the point where you're feel uncomfortable.
All right, that's fine.
Stink,
all right, I just didn't want to be slobbering all over this.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge from here because I got to do a power stance.
Yeah. What do you think of this, by the way? I mean, this is pop punk.
Yeah, no,
totally.
I've listened to this album. This album's good.
Yeah.
I think they're also playing Riot Fest. Everyone's playing Riot Fest.
Yeah, they are. I've never seen them live, and I'm very excited for
that.
Are you
going to Riot Fest?
I'm going to what? That's where the Misfits are reunited. I was like, and everything else that's going to be there that I haven't seen, all bonus. All a bonus, because I would have just gone just for the Misfits.
Wow.
You know?
They always put together the best. Like I went there probably 2013.
Yeah.
And it was just like every band that ever wanted to see, just like
that's great.
You couldn't see them all.
So you just have an itinerary though. You're like, I'm gonna turn my head this way. I'm gonna turn my head this way because it's like two separate stages.
I just remember because Blink played that, and it was like I've never seen.
Was that with Tom or was that?
That was OG lineup, and it was just like I've never seen a crowd just spread out because every other show was done, and it was just. Thousands and thousands.
That Damn It song is so friggin' good, man. It really is a great friggin' song. And me personally, I'm not they were never really my cup of tea, but
we can play that.
You can't deny how awesome Damn It is. It's just a great friggin' song.
I didn't even know that was them when I was a kid, and then I
really?
got into the What's My Age Again. That was the song that got me into it.
Yeah.
I saw that video.
That video was huge on TRL, right? Yeah, it's crazy. We're not, the song is playing, right?
Yeah,
I got you guys
close. Okay, I'm going to stand back here.
Yeah, but we got 30 seconds.
Cool.
Real quick.
But yeah, this is, to me, is like, I mean, this was 10 years before any of that stuff. And those bands had been around. NoFX is another band that I really think really...
Oh, true.
I mean, NoFX is, I should really mention them because that they too were that, they weren't before the Descendants, I think.
You know what? We'll talk about it on mic.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, we're back. That was Little Descendants for you.
Okay, I have to agree that's pop punk, but it's not the same pop punk as Blink-182, right?
Yeah,
Blink-182 is more bubblegum punk. I think maybe that's the terminology that I hated as a kid.
So it's proto. It's proto. That's what we're gonna call it.
Proto.
I'm knee deep in this microphone, guys. Do I sound good now?
Yeah, you sounded even better somehow.
All right, good.
It looks very unnatural the way you're sitting, but that's how you know it's the right way.
That's all right. I'm a talking deep voice.
He's doing his McConaughey.
Southern drawl.
He's doing his McConaughey.
I don't know
again.
why.
So let's talk about this movie now.
Okay.
We're talking about Romeo's distress. We were talking pop punk. Now we're back.
Yeah. Oh, before we talk about Romeo, real quick,
Yes.
I just want to throw in, I think NoFX also would be mentioned while the song was playing. NoFX is another one of those bands that was just like really doing that thing like early. But digressing to Romeo's distress.
Yes.
Yeah. So
let's start at the beginning.
go ahead.
Let's give everyone the premise.
Lead me in.
Yeah. What is this movie about? Let's let the listener know.
This movie is about, it is a trying to invent a marketable genre name. I've decided that it is a Shakespearean Gothic horror thriller.
I saw that and I was like, that alone is like, I need to check this out.
Yeah.
It's a weird genre bending, meaning that honestly, it's not quite horror, it's not quite thriller, it's a little bit of John Waters, who I friggin' love, and like it's like a lot of my influences, and the premise is simple. It's about a boy named James and his unrequited love for a girl named Jane, and Jane's father, how he reacts to it all, how he processes all this, and he does it in a very sort of sadistic way. And that's like the elevator synopsis. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, but it takes some right turns, and I want to leave everybody curious to know, maybe want to know more if you want to jump down that rabbit hole. So,
because the trailer's available now to be viewed.
Yes, view the trailer on YouTube, on Video Business Media's YouTube page. I don't know the link, but I'm sure you can find it because I post every 5 seconds. Shit out of people.
Yeah, we'll post it too for sure on our page, obviously.
Awesome.
So. What was like the process like? I mean, for anybody out there who may be listening that maybe wants to make a movie, or like, where did you start? Obviously, you got to start with the story, but what was the impetus for the idea? Like, what made you decide? Okay, I got this little seed, and now let me run with this and take it as far as actually finishing it and making it into a fucking finished movie. Like,
so the first thing I learned coming out of film school was that I don't need to be in LA and I don't need to be in New York City. Everything that I need to make a movie is right inside of me, and I learned that from Robert Rodriguez, reading his journal entries for when he made El Mariachi.
wow.
And I learned that if you want to do something, all you need is you need Craigslist, and you need to find people that are going to rally behind your cause, and you need to just get out there and don't wait for anything. Just start doing. And I had been wanting to make a feature film, a narrative feature film, for over 10 years. I had done plenty of documentary work and a couple other stuff, and videography and music videos. But that's what I've wanted to do. That's been my dream, is to tell stories as a narrative feature filmmaker. And so finally, I wrote a script called The Shift. It was my first time ever writing a screenplay. It took me a year. And from December 2012 to maybe December 2013, I finally finished the final draft or whatever. And it was 120 pages long, and it was horrible. It was so bad, and I was trying to get it made, and I just realized I just didn't have the skill or the resources to film it, and I very begrudgingly put it on a shelf, and I just kept writing. And that's the thing, just the way of being in a band or running a podcast, anything that you do that's art, that even if you're not getting paid to do it yet, You have to treat it like a full-time job. It is a job. And people are going to call it your hobby, and you're going to say, fuck you. This is not my hobby. This is my life. This is my dream.
That's right.
And you're just going to treat it like a job. And what does that mean? If you're in the writing stage, that means going to a coffee shop. And even if you write for 1 hour and procrastinate on Facebook for 4 hours, you are writing.
Yep.
And you are getting into your creative process. And mine's really weird. Like, if I'm not sitting in the Barnes & Noble cafe in a specific direction, in a specific table, I can't get my creative juices flowing.
Wow. That's
it's
insane.
Like, yeah, it's weird, man. Like, and I'll sit there and I will sometimes like creepily hover near the table waiting for someone to get. And then I found a new spot. Hastings Tea is really awesome right in White Plains. So go there if you're ever in White Plains. You know,
Hastings Tea?
Coffee. Yeah.
Sounds
like
nice.
a little mom and pop shop,
Yeah.
Fuck the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Fuck the Bucks.
Yeah.
Fuck the Bucks,
Fuck
man.
the Bucks.
Fuck the Bucks.
Hashtag fuck the Bucks.
Make that into a bumper sticker.
As my friend Jim says, he calls them star weasels. So, I like that. I like that name.
That is pretty good. I dig it.
So I kept writing and I kept going to this coffee shop, and I'll never forget, man, like even before I started writing Romeo, I'll never forget I was, just telling my friend about my idea for a movie, and he was like, that's cool. And when he said that, he encouraged me. And I was like, really? You think it's cool? And he's like, yeah, you should write it. I was like, I'm going to do that. Yeah. And it costs nothing to encourage an artist. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It costs nothing. And the dividends, the returning dividends, the how you will affect that person's life, it's monumental. And so I sat down, I wrote that whole screenplay, and even though I got to the end, but it was no good. It just wasn't, it needs to be reworked. Maybe there's something there in the future. But so I'm writing again, and I was traveling down a really dark street early in the morning, and I was listening to this song, and I just got this idea, and I started writing a screenplay, and that turned into Romeo, and it was, kind of like a love triangle situation originally, and it's just basically, to go a little deeper, it's like, what if the story of Romeo and Juliet had a situation where Juliet didn't love Romeo back, and and that's kind of like even more tragic than being a star-crossed lover. It's like you're a Romeo and this girl is your Juliet, whether she really is or not, and you can't have her. You know what I mean? And so that creates and there's more to it than that. And my favorite kind of characters are the characters that are not all the way good and all the way evil. They're like very gray, like Walter White. You know what I mean? Like,
he toes that line.
Better Call Saul right here on
just
my
it's
shirt.
ambiguous, man. Oh, there you go. Exactly. Oh, dude, I'm so excited for the next season. I like. You know what the best part is? Not even like the flashback stuff. The present day stuff in black and white in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You're like,
chilling at the
where is
Cinnabon,
this going?
right?
Where is this going?
Yeah.
SG was here. Where is that going? That's what I want to know.
There's some demons still left to be unearthed there.
So I keep writing Romeo. So I wrote this concept. It just came to me, and I literally wrote it around locations where I live in White Plains, New York. That's what I did. I thought about places where I wouldn't be disturbed, where I could have a camera and just shoot a movie. And I wrote the movie around those locations, around props that I had, around weird stuff, and I knew I had a grandma. I have a grandma that loves me to death and will do anything for me. And I knew that I was gonna put her in a really weird scene where she gets fed baby food, and she was totally down to do it. And I fed my grandmother baby food.
Wow!
And
wow!
That's love, right?
That's some family love.
She plays the grandma of the character in the story.
Wow.
She's grandma, but it's like that's the type of stuff you just get inspired. And then I live right next to Sleepy Hollow. I knew I was going to do the opening scene in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery because I love Sleepy Hollow, and I started going up there and I wrote that in, and
so once it kind of sounds like it snowballed a lot. Like you had the seed of the idea, but then one thing kind of led you to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and then and that influences the end product of the movie. And then I think that's great art. It's ever evolving, like you're not stuck yourself into one specific thing, and like you're just kind of rolling with the punches.
Well, here's another big piece of it, and he was supposed to be on the show with us today, is Nick Bohan. And he was one of the guys who answered that Craigslist ad when I was still trying to make that first script. That was way too long. and we met at Panera Bread. I think it was February 2004. And he was just like, I was looking for a producer, and not like a producer for money, a producer that could like facilitate scheduling and stuff. And he responded to the ad that I put out, which was like, "Are you a rebel without a crew?" You know, after the El Mariachi thing. And he was like, "I do sound. Like, you know, if you need a sound guy, let me know." And then we met up. And then the most amazing thing happened. I watched this movie, and all of you, if you're looking to make a film and you don't think you can make a film for $6,000, go see The Battery.
The Battery.
I watched The Battery, which is streaming on Hulu right now and Amazon Prime. So you can go watch it, go check it out.
Prime time.
Amazon Prime Time.
Or, you know, throw those dudes a couple bucks because they lost a ton of money on that movie. And watch it. And I had to see this movie because I was like, how do you make a film for $6,000? Because I was like, I don't have $6,000, but I have $5,000. And like, I should just do this myself. I shouldn't try and crowdfund or anything. I'm just gonna make a movie myself. And so I'm watching the movie and I love it. And then I'm watching the credits, and whose name pops up in the fucking credits? Nick Bohan.
Wow.
And I was like, I texted him, like, dude, you worked on that movie? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right.
That's awesome. Wow.
Let's friggin' do this. And so over the course of 15 months, it took forever, because there's a golden triangle of production filmmaking, and that is good, fast, and cheap. And I think it extends to any art. It extends to any sort of like art making. You can have 2 out of the 3. And I learned that in production design class in college. And basically, you can have something that's going to be good and fast, but it's not going to be cheap. You can have something fast and cheap, but it's not going to be good. And you can have something good and cheap, but it's not going to be fast. You can never have all 3 unless you have hundreds of millions of dollars. And you know, and that was the process for Romeo. It was like we're never going to have all 3 of these things, so it's just got to happen on its own time. And believe me, I had my own time schedule. And, you know, there were points where I was like, this movie is never going to get finished. But you know what? I refused to give up. And I was like, I'm going to see this through to the end, even if it's a grand failure. And you want to know something? I came out the other end, and whether it's the vision I had or not, I have a feature-length film under my belt. We did it. We did it. We made the movie. Now it's in consideration. So
it's in the can. It's in the can, so to speak, right?
That's where we are.
So I'm curious, how did you audition for like parts and things?
Craigslist, man.
Craigslist?
Yep. I auditioned everybody.
I was joking with him saying we should find an intern on Craigslist.
Craigslist, man. Well, I mean, that's the other thing about Craigslist too, because Craigslist is also like the land of like there's a funny meme on Facebook. It's like, if you see any of these things on Craigslist, it means free or no money, and it's like low budget, like all these different things, you know. And so for that, I told my actors, I said, listen, for all ostensive purposes, you're working for free, and I threw them cash stipends. Okay. Was it a lot of money? No, but it was my way of saying, this is all I have to give you, but. So you know that I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I mean, that's more than...
I want you to have something. I can't afford you to pay a standard day rate, although the next movie I make, I'm not going to do it over 15 months. It is going to happen in 10 days. I'm going to pay, everybody will get a standard ultra-low budget day rate, and we're just going to make this thing. I'm not doing that again, the 15 months. I did it once. It was good. We came in super under budget, but boy, that was tough.
I can imagine 15 months on anything, that's... I mean, and it's obviously you weren't doing it like every single day. You have a life to live in between all that.
And I got my wife pregnant, and we had a kid in the middle of that too. I mean, it was crazy. We just finished the last like solid days of principal photography as my son was being born. Like still had a couple of days. We had like 2 days left.
Wow.
We got everything done, and then he was born. And
he was basically like, "Hey, I know it's over now."
He's like, "I'm gonna be in the next one, Dad."
Yeah,
hey,
right. Oh, yeah.
He's got no choice now.
He has no choice. I was like, "Oh, now I have a baby. I got to write a movie about a baby."
If your grandma's in it, your baby's got to be in it.
That's
now.
right. That's right. It's like key.
Right. And you know, from what I know about you from when I met you a couple years ago,
right.
which is even what you were doing then. You were doing the rock and roll cooking with Sal B.
Right.
We could definitely talk about that.
Yes, let's definitely
because that was amazing fun, and I got to eat stuffed shells made by a
cinematic stuffed shells.
It was my band Cinema was on the show, and like you were saying too, like you giving me compliments about my music, and that inspired me just 10 minutes ago, man. So like what you said over before, like that does mean a lot to people, you know, like you really don't know until you hear it from somebody, because it's really hard to get even a compliment these days.
A compliment costs you nothing.
Right, it's really
true. It's encouraging and keeps you going, you know?
And you want to know something?
So useful.
And after making a film, you know, and I do, you know, I've started doing a little bit of writing and reviewing, and, you know, I like to share about, you know, I passionately write about movies that I've watched.
Yeah, you just wrote about Hook. I read that, man. That was really,
for Robin
really
Williams.
awesome.
Captain Hook, like Robin Williams Hook?
Yeah, the Hook. Yeah.
There's let me plug this real quick. This guy, Kieran Fisher, who, talk about encouraging. This guy who saw me writing passionately about movies was just like, hey man, write for my new website because I think you're good and I think you would do a great job. And I was like, me? I could do that? He's like, yeah, do it. And he encouraged me. And now I've written 3 articles for them. And you know what? Honestly, it was like such an easy thing to do. It was like, it unlocked a potential that I didn't know I had inside of me. And all it took was just someone saying, you can do this, or you should try. Maybe I wouldn't be any good, but you should try.
You'll never know, you know?
You'll never know, man.
Right.
You know, and that's how you like unlock things about yourself. You learn about yourself. So they have a website called That's Not Current. It's great. There's a great pool of writers. Check them out on Facebook. That's Not Current. I don't know what their URL is, but I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Type that into Google.
Something. Yeah, and. Yeah, I don't know how we got talking about that. But
No, I was talking about the rock and roll cooking with Sal B thing.
Right,
what I really was meant to kind of get into, but I just wanted to. I remembered that I wanted to thank you for the compliment. So I just wanted to thank you.
One like a studio audience.
It is. A little claps.
That reminds me. So about like, you know, talking about movies, like I really like privately amongst friends, I will slam a movie and talk about how much I hate it. But publicly now, I try so hard. Like, I will only focus on the things I like about a film. After knowing the process and having respect for anybody who completes a feature-length film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with with a lot of art in general. It's like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And if you need to say something negative, say it to your friends. Don't say it publicly, you know, because what do you get? There's no point in tearing somebody down unless you have constructive criticism to go with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And you're not going against anyone. And it's different with like bands too, because I feel like sometimes with bands it gets a little shitty because, oh man, that guy got to work with this guy and that guy got to work with this guy and this producer, because you're it's a little more competitive with bands. But when you're a director, it's like it's more of a community where you're just like, yeah man, you should do that, or giving people encouragement.
This is my friend's film. He did a great job. You know,
not that doesn't happen in music, but I definitely feel, especially in the city, it's very competitive and people are like always shit talking. Oh man, this guy sucks or whatever. How did he get in this band? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But what I wanted to get back to is you know, from the first time I met you. I knew you were going to make a movie. I just knew it because you had such passion for even the thing you were doing with the cooking show and how hard you worked. And you made us do like 5 takes of like lady abortion in that basement. We were sweating our balls off. And it came out great, and the sweat and everything. You had a green screen set up down there, and I was like, "This was
my first time ever doing green screen."
I remember,
I just wanted to try it,
dude. It looked crazy. I mean,
what was in the background of this?
You had like a space thing.
It was. I took it from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Guys, did you have a song called Space?
No, I don't think we.
No. You had a song.
UFO,
which is great, but I called it the space version because it had that background. Because it was like being projected into outer space when you guys were playing. And Ev is just like, like he goes crazy, you go crazy. It's just like,
but
nuts.
You kind of got our aesthetic, and I think that's a mark of a good director too. You were able to kind of just like pick it up right as you see it and turn it into something cool. And I just wanted to say that. From even then, I knew that you were going to be able to do something because you just had that spark, and that's what's required. I think, you know, like, I mean, maybe not required is not the best word, but you kind of need that to be able to stay the course.
It's passion, man. You have to have a passion, and you know what? I've been talking about it for a long time. It's called the path. And in my life, I have...
It sounds epic. It sounds so epic.
But it's true, man. Like, you wander on and off the path. You know, I fell in love with a girl. I wandered off the path for, you know, I had to find my wife. You know what I mean? Like, that's a whole crazy story. I had to find my wife. And then, you know, I'm thinking, oh, well, you know, I'm never going to be able to make money being a filmmaker, so I have to try and find something in the field. So I started interning at a post-production sound place, thinking that that's what I'll do. And it's like, or I tried working as a PA on like InDesign Star on HGTV, and it's like all these different things. I was like, this is not me. None of this shit is me. I am supposed to write and direct a film, and I'm never going to do it unless I do it. And so you know what I did? I work in a restaurant. That's what I do. I work in a restaurant. It affords me a very comfortable lifestyle for myself, my wife, and my baby. And you know what I do? When I'm not working in the restaurant, I am just plugging away at the film thing. And in that way, in doing something so humbling, because boy, is that job humbling. In doing something so humbling, I knew that was the only way that I would be able to do the things that I want to do, be a director, because just the way that it is for you as a drummer, or for doing a podcast, or whatever it is that you do creatively, you like who you are when you're doing it.
Yeah, no, that's right? Definitely true. Yeah, you don't want to be somebody you're not. That's.
Well, I know. For me, like I'm my perfect self. My truest form of self is when I'm on the stage playing drums.
There you go.
So that's what keeps me coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what keeps me coming back. And
that's your path, man.
Right.
And you stay your path, and you can't let anything knock you off the path. Because here's the thing, and maybe this is for all artists or some artists. The alternative is to truly fail. That's failure to me. To cop out like that. It's all a fucking cop out if you don't push it as far as you can push it. And I push it as far as I can push it. I really do. I try. I really try as I profusely sweat.
No, that's how we can't have the AC on.
No, we'll do. Let's take. I got a song queued up. Let's.
So
do
clutch.
I got
so clutch.
Blink. Let's. We'll take a little breather.
Do it.
We'll come back.
Go ahead.
Maybe you could say we'll be back in a blink. How about that?
We'll be back in the blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye.
Yeah. Great song.
Awesome, man.
Oh no, you're fucking awesome, and thank you for the compliments, man.
Yeah, man, for sure. I know.
You know, it's funny. That's how Sal B began, because I was interviewing Sal for this Misfits documentary, because he knows the whole band, and he was telling me about his concept for a cooking show.
It's so crazy.
And he's
This
like
New Jersey fucking guy is like making me stuff shells.
He's
Oh my God, that's so good.
He's from Lodi, great guy. Sal, if you're watching this, love you, buddy, miss you. And Sal. You know, it's like that, you know, Italian hospitality, like old school,
Totally.
like, you know,
What else can I do? I can't do enough.
Yeah.
You need more?
Yeah.
You have every 7 on your plate,
With
but I
that
can
thick
give you
New
more.
Jersey Lodi
Yeah.
accent, and he's like, yeah, I love cooking, and what I want to do is I want to have bands come into my kitchen. I'm going to interview them, and then we're going to cook a dish, and they'll play a live song. And I was like,
Great fucking idea.
I was like, dude, let's fucking do it. He's like, well, I want to shop it. I'm like, no, let's just do it.
Shop it
And I
later.
started contacting bands. He knew all the Misfit guys, so we had every single Misfit guy on except for Jerry. I saw you guys open for Michael Graves. That's how we got you. This band that I love, fucking Nimvind, shout out. I was like, I have to have this dude on the show because I'm just a diehard friggin' fan. This band Stellar Corpses, they drove through, had them on, you know, Cancer Slug, you know.
Yeah, man, it was fucking awesome. I enjoyed it. I mean, I like cooking shows too, like, so like it hit.
Yeah,
And then also
I
me-
love doing it, man.
Yeah,
I love doing it, but it's become with the baby. It's just gotten it is so hard. I just don't have the time, man. I just don't have the time. So for now, I'm not really involved at the moment. But
Is he still doing it, or is he?
I don't know what the current status is with it, but I just personally have just not been available. The last episode was almost 2 years ago, and I tried to do a couple episodes since, but you know, you get guys that they want to dial it in or whatever, and it's like, I don't want to fucking dial it in, you know?
I thought the song was ending.
No,
Yeah,
we're
let's do
like,
it.
we're like 35 seconds.
All right.
I'm gonna come out. I'll do the Patreon.
Yeah, do the Patreon.
and then we'll
So
come.
take a deep breath. I'm gonna see this tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna play this.
This isn't even with Travis as the drummer.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
This isn't even like Travis Barker isn't even playing on.
Yeah, this was the original drummer, right?
Yeah,
I knew that.
Scott's something.
So they all got back together. They were like, he had a crazy plane accident. They were just like, we need to put all of our bullshit
Oh
aside.
yeah, bullshit's back, baby.
Bullshit's back.
What's up, guys? This is you listen to the Stroll Show on Radio Free Brooklyn. And before we continue on with Jeff talking about his upcoming film,
Jeff was fired up.
Yeah,
how we doing on time, by the way? Are
we got about
okay?
15 minutes.
Okay.
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes. We got time.
But before we continue on about the movie, I just want to let you guys
Yes.
know that if you want to support local radio, Radio Free Brooklyn, we have a
Yes.
Patreon page on our RadioFreeBrooklyn.com. And if you want to donate $1 a month, and it's like a subscription kind of fee.
It's just the price of one salad.
That's right. That one salad I talk about,
You can support us for a
$12 a
month.
year can help.
Also, a slice
for
of
a
keep
year.
the doors open. Well, I think you can.
Two Brothers Pizza, which I know you guys are like, oh, that's not pizza, that's friggin'.
No, it's pizza.
It's still good.
You know,
That's a dollar
Pizza,
slice.
if you want to starve.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's a good price. So if you want to donate, you like what you hear, we got some big things planned for the fall. So if you guys want to help us out, keep the thing up and running.
I think
Go
it's
check it out.
it's
RadioFreeBrooklyn.com.
patreon.com/Radio Free Brooklyn or
One way or the
something.
other.
But it's very easy to find. You can go to our Facebook page on the Stroll. We have it on there, or you can go to our the website RadioFreeBrooklyn.com and you can find it. And any little bit helps. We
little
don't.
bit.
This is good and not and cheap radio. Not fast.
Not fast. Well,
That's
hours
right.
pretty quick though. Once a week.
Well,
it's
that's
pretty-
true.
It's like done like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't fast getting this up and running because you don't see the operation we got going here. This is some
we're
serious
gonna-
Lots of
shit.
wires, lots of plugs.
You see me just holding. What do these do? What do these? Do I plug these in?
I'm so afraid to touch anything.
Don't touch anything. It could short circuit the whole system.
That's our main job description. Is
But
don't
that's
touch
the,
anything.
But that's a philosophy. This is what I've learned is that anything good in life doesn't happen overnight. Very rarely does it happen overnight, and that's called winning the lottery,
Yeah.
either literally or metaphorically. Anything that is good takes a long time to make. And that's just the way it is, man. That's just the way it is. If someone's gonna sell you an iPhone and they're like, it's only $15, man, it's probably not a good idea.
It's probably broken. It's like
Yeah.
only thing that's fast and cheap is Kraft macaroni and cheese. And that's
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say.
And also
And it's
delicious.
good.
Yeah,
It's
that's
good. Wow.
that's
Did
the
we just
exception.
figure it out? We just
yeah,
figured
that's
out
the
the golden
exception to the
triangle.
rule.
Oh my god!
And it's golden because it's Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's golden cheese.
Yeah, how does cheese turn to powder? I'll never know.
I don't know.
But that shit's good. That's all I'm gonna say. So now I want to get back to the movie.
Yeah.
Now we're Romeo's Distress.
Yes.
When would this movie be coming out?
So right now we're in consideration at a bunch of festivals. I put I just sent it out to a bunch of festivals, and then I basically just stalked the shit out of these festival programmers and whatnot, and was like trying to find their personal email addresses to address them personally because I just want to stand out. I want to be like, even if my movie is below your standards, like, look at me, man. I'm like trying to do this thing. I want to get noticed, and like, so it's all about that. It's all about social media. Facebook groups is huge. And here's the thing, especially when you're doing it from your personal Facebook page, it is so hard to maintain a balance of self-promotion and not like polluting people's feeds.
Yeah,
And
that's a
I'm,
tough
like,
thing.
really bad at that. Like I'm trying, I really am trying to be mindful of it, but it's just like I keep thinking in my head, I'm like, so what I've resorted to is I go to these Facebook groups and I listen to a lot of podcasts about filmmaking, and learn about how social media is the most important thing. If you're an independent artist, forget about just being a filmmaker. If you are an independent artist, if you are a band, and you don't have, all your social media sites set up and you're not posting micro content constantly, how do you expect to, grow your niche audience?
It's very tough. It's tough. This day and age, it's almost like you need to have a degree. I mean, now you can get a social media marketing degree. Where
I kind of wish I had. Wish I had.
But
It
you
seems silly.
But
It
when
really
you went to
seems silly.
college a couple years ago,
Didn't exist.
it didn't even exist.
So I'm back. This is an education. This is literally.
It's true.
I go to work. I open the restaurant. Some days I'm a manager, and I sit there and I count.
Only
registers.
some days. I like that though. I only got to manage some days.
Yeah, it's not. It's
best
not.
way to manage.
It's part time, and so I'm sitting there counting registers, and I'm listening about like how to be most effective on Facebook or YouTube, or posting in Facebook groups is like my new bread and butter. It's like a really great way to get stuff out, but you got to be careful because these motherfuckers are, and I say motherfuckers in the most endearing way, are super territorial of their groups. They take them very seriously. Moderation is a very serious Facebook thing, so you have to be super respectful. and you have to, when they tell you, hey, you're spamming us too much, you need to try and not spam.
Yeah.
You need to create, that's where I was talking to my friend Jim about this. He's trying to get his documentary out about, he's a cosplayer, and he is like the de facto humongous from the Road Warrior. You ever see the Road Warrior?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is, if you've seen like somebody cosplaying as the Road Warrior, it's him. And I was talking to him yesterday about, dude, like my niche audiences, Facebook.
Yeah,
groups,
it's all about that
posting
niche
stuff,
for sure.
creating
For
micro
sure.
content,
Yeah, because it grows out of the niche too,
It does.
and it can grow out. Like so, we found the same thing with trying to share our different podcasts and stuff that we did back in the day on like different pop punk groups and stuff. Because we were interviewing some people that were relatively known in certain scenes, and it's just like, am I allowed to put this on this person's Facebook? Like, what do I do? Like,
you got to ask permission. You got to go in there. And what I did was, before I even started posting about my film, I spent, and talk about a job. I have 50 of these Facebook groups, and I sit there every day posting about a movie that I saw on Netflix or Hulu, and say, now streaming on Netflix and Hulu, XYZ movie. And just posting about that just to get myself familiar and ingratiated amongst these people.
Be
so
part
I
of the
could be
community,
like,
yeah. That's
yeah,
what you
and
want
just
to
go,
do.
hey man, this is my own movie. Can I talk to you about it? Will you listen? And some of them are like, fuck you. And some of them are like, dude, you're such a contributing member. Like, totally post your stuff. And I have a list of the groups that say yes and the groups that say no. And I try to like respect those boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, you clearly have your ideas and your things like organized, and that's what you need to have. And it's consistency is key too. I mean, you were saying that before. Just keep being consistent.
Yes.
And then eventually, whatever glass ceiling or paper thin ceiling, you don't even know. Like it could be that thin in front of your face. You could be right there about to poke through, like one of those like Japanese sliding rice paper doors or something. You don't know.
Those doors are awesome.
But anyway, so we got like 10 minutes left, so less than 10 minutes. So let's a little bit of a fun question.
Yes.
And I think this is it's simple, effective, but perfect question for you, and I'd be very interested to hear your answer.
Please.
I don't know how to phrase it, but like, what is two things? A two-pronged question.
Okay.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Whoa.
And what's in your opinion, the best movie of all time? That's two different answers right there, But keep in mind, we only have 10 minutes. I know you have a lot to say.
We should cue the Jeopardy music.
I know, it's tough.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, go.
All right, so the answer to your question is I can't answer either one of those questions, so I'm just going to talk about the things that I feel really passionately, which I clearly know how to do very well.
Yep.
Currently at this moment. So a film that I personally love at this moment, I've always loved it, was a movie that traumatized me as a kid, and a movie that I have probably seen over 100 times. Return of the Living Dead. Scream Factory just put out a brand new release on Blu-ray. It looks gorgeous, and I just read the novelization of the screenplay from 1985. It's 30 years old. It's a mass market paperback. I read it and I had to rewatch it again. And I am just in awe of the screenwriting prowess. It's the same guy who wrote the movie Alien, the original Alien.
Oh
Dan
my
O'Bannon.
God! Yeah,
yeah. And so he wrote a script so brilliant. So utterly brilliant without stepping on the toes of one of my all-time favorite movies, Night of the Living Dead, the original 1968 film.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And how does he? It's like, how do you make a film about zombies without like doing what everybody else does and makes Night of the Living Dead over and over again? Make a world where Night of the Living Dead was based. It's based on a true story, and it's a fictional movie and it just builds from there. And terror. It's terrifying. It's still terrifying to me, and it's like it's just a really great script. And if you've never watched it, just throw it on. You will really, really enjoy it. And then a best film, a film that I watch every time I watch it. I'm just in awe of the craft of filmmaking, and just it's like a lost Stanley Kubrick film. Kubrick is the master of the master, So this is like a lost Stanley Kubrick. The Coob. It's like a lost Coob, and it is called the Cook, the Thief, His Wife, Her Lover. And it was rated X. It stars Helen Mirren.
Rated X? Helen Mirren?
In 1989.
That's not porn, though.
It's not porn, but it's got some great pornorific scenes in it.
That's that above R rating.
Yes, and it is just, I sit there and I watch this film over and over again, just watching the craftsmanship. I could write a whole essay about how incredible the film is. It's an incredible film. I think it's still on Netflix streaming. Go watch it right now if you haven't seen it. It is like watching a lost Stanley Kubrick film. And that to me is like, for me, that's like pinnacle filmmaking. Like I wish I could write a script like Dan O'Bannon and then be a master like Peter Greenaway.
Maybe you're on your way, man. You don't know.
I'm just gonna keep chugging them out, man. I'm gonna do another one. I'm already looking to the next one. I'm sitting writing right now, and all I can tease is a title based because Romeo's Distress comes from a Christian death song.
Okay.
I write a lot of my screenplays are based on song titles because that's where I find my inspiration. So this one's called Life, Death, and the American Guitar, and it's a monologue. Wow. It's based on a monologue from a Jim Steinman album. Jim Steinman being the piano player for Meatloaf, the songwriting duo. And that's where I'm at right now.
I think that's a perfect way to end because it's a little cliffhanger for what's to come from Mr. Jeff Frumess over here.
I just want to give a really quick shout out. I want to give a quick shout out to Nick Bohan first and foremost. Nick was one of those encouragers. He was like, you can shoot this movie. And if it wasn't for Nick, the film wouldn't exist. And the actors, all the actors, Jeff Solomon and Anthony Milcar and Cece and my grandmother and Dave Street and David Voice and Adam Strode and Stevie Grosset, and I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. I'm hoping not. And just thank you guys for helping me. Oh, and Michael Fells, who came in at the tail end, and of course Kim, who plays Jane. The movie wouldn't exist without you guys, and I just want to say thank you.
And I can't wait to see it. And thank you for
having me, guys.
For coming on.
Thank you for coming on. And you let us know when they'll be released, the film, so we can go out and check it out.
I will. And you guys will definitely be hearing from me.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
And if you feel like posting on our page,
I will. And
ask us first.
I don't know. We'll have to ask the moderators before we go in.
I'll sign it with sealing wax.
I'll
send you a raven.
I always wanted that. My own emblem with my a big C on the wax.
Cinema with a double C.
Perhaps.
Maybe back just two C stamps so you can use a double.
Hey, we'll figure it out. But anyway, any housekeeping we want to take care of before we got the Patreon, right?
We got a Patreon down.
You've been listening to the Stroll Show on Radio Free Brooklyn. We've been sitting here with Jeff Frumess, whose new movie Romeo's Distress is awesome. It's a crazy experience. Find it on Facebook, and we'll let you know.
Watch the trailer.
Watch the trailer.
All right.
Yeah, no, I really have no housekeeping today. I want to plug we have that show coming up at Radio Free Brooklyn in September, but I don't have the details on it. I know it's September 10th.
Yep.
September the 10th.
And we'll be posting that on our
Unit
Facebook
J,
as well.
it's called, I think, the place, but we'll get you that information. I don't want to.
It's going to be a big fundraiser for what's coming up in Radio Free Brooklyn. There's a lot of changes that are happening for the good changes. I don't know what we could say yet. Obviously.
I don't know what's out of the bag.
We need all the help we could get, and we would really appreciate anybody donating to the Patreon, coming to our fundraisers, and just be involved in our community because it
takes a village.
It's vital. It's vital to have people like Jeff be known, and we need to be here to give him to the world.
Yeah,
that's what we do. And so I guess all I have to say is, Vinny, you up?
You up, bro?
Vinny, are you up?
He's up.